Welcome back to the Arbitress YouTube channel. Today we'll be learning how to make this beautiful detail on a dress. It's very simple as seen on the thumbnail, and it's very lovely. If this is what you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned till the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so to make this design, I'm just drawing like these 4 cardinal points, with this part being my midpoint. Okay, so what I'm trying to do now is just to draw like a circle. That's the first step. So now to do this, you need to determine how wide, how big you want this design to be. For me, I think I'll be working with like 6 inches, which is okay. You can test this with a pattern to see how big it's going to come out before you decide the amount you want to use. So for the purpose of this illustration, I'll be working with 6 inches or 6.5. Let me say 6.5 because of seam allowance. So now I'll be marking the 6.5 from this center point. I'll mark 6.5 all round. Okay, so I mark 6.5 here. I'm going to mark it here again. I'm going to mark it. You can mark it as close as possible so that you have like a perfect circle. So I'm going to be marking 6.5 all round. Okay, so I've marked my 6.5 inches round and I've dotted it. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do now is to join the dots together using my free hand. Okay, that was why I said you should make them as close together as possible so that it will be easy for you to connect your dots. So this is me connecting the dots, and then once I connect it, I have something like this. So I have like a circle now. Okay, so after having my circle, on the lower part here, I'll just shift this so that I can see it well. On the lower part here, I'm going to measure, I'm going to add like 2 inches to the 6 inches that I measured there, and then I'm going to have like 8 inches or 8.5. Remember I measured 6.5 inches, and then my 8.5 inches is going to stop around here. Okay, so once my 8.5 inches stop around here, I'm going to connect it from this. Okay, let me place it like this so that we can see it well. So I'm going to be connecting it. I measured from here, from where the circle stop. I added 2 inches to what I measured here, and it gave me around 8.5 inches. So I have the 8.5 inches there. So now the next connection I'm going to be making is from here. I'll connect it to this 8.5 inches like this using my curved ruler. So I'm just going to try to look for a curved ruler that can take it all at once for me. Okay, so now using this curved ruler, now from here I'm going to connect it to the 8.5 points that I marked like this. Okay, I just don't want something too curved there. I'm trying to find like a perfect balance for it. So you can also use your free hand for this. I just prefer to use a curve. Okay, so you can see how I try to blend it in like that. Okay, so this is the new shape that I have. If you want this point, this that more pointy, you can make it as sharp as you want. Okay, so after doing this now, here I'm going to measure like half an inch, 0.5 inches here. So I have my 0.5 inches here, and then on the mid part here also I'm going to measure 0.5 inches. So now I'm going to take my ruler and then trace this 0.5 inches out. Let me retrace here so that we can see it well, and then it stops here. Okay, and that is all we need for our pattern. You can actually cut this directly on your fabric, but I decided to use a pattern so that we can see what I'm doing wrong. So now I'm going to cut out this pattern. You can see how I'm cutting this out. Then I'm going to be placing it on my fabric. So for each of the design, I'm going to be cutting 2. So one will be for my main fabric, and then one will be serve as my lining. So you can use different fabric for your main fabric and your lining, depending on what you want. Okay. So this is how you cut it. When you get here, you stop and then you cut downwards like this. So you don't cut off the circle here, you cut the straight mark, the 8.5 inches mark that you went down with. Okay. So now the next thing is for me to cut the 1/2 inch here also. And then here also you bend it at the midpoint, and then you cut out this also. And that is it for your pattern. So this is the pattern that I'll be working with. This is what the pattern looks like. Now I'm going to take this to my fabric, then cut it out. So I've gone ahead to cut this on my paper now, and I cut 2 of these, right side facing each other. So now to turn it, I'm just going to try to remove my pattern, then use my pin to hold it together, and then I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew it round, then leave a tiny space for me to turn it out. Okay, so I'm using a satin fabric for this. The pin is just to hold it together for me. So now I take it to the sewing machine now and then sew like this. So I'm just going to sew round basically, and then leave a space to turn it out. Okay, so you can see I've sewn it all round, and I just left a space here to turn it out. So now you need to notch it round. Remember, it's a curve so that it can relax well. Then from your space that you left, you just turn everything out. So now I've turned it out. Now it's still looking puffy, so you need to iron it. But before you iron it, this small space here, I'm just going to fold it in, and you can finish it with maybe you can just sew on it a bit, or you just sew it in with your needle and thread so that it can have like an invisible finish. Then you take it to the ironing table and iron it well so that it can relax. Okay, so after having your fabric turned out like this, like I said, it shouldn't be this puffy, so iron it flat. Okay, I'm just rushing this for the purpose of the tutorial. So you need to tie a needle and thread like this, and then what I'm going to be using this needle and thread to do is to gather from here all around to this place. Okay, so now I've run my running stitch like this, you can see. So before I drag it, I just want to show us, I made sure that it stopped where this circle ends here. It did not extend up to this place. Okay, so now you can see that they are the same level. The next thing now is for me to just drag it together. Okay, so this is just me dragging it together, and then I'm trying to arrange it like this to have something nice like this. So you can drag it as much as you want. Then I'm going to pass my needle and thread to this side also, so that I can have everything together. So after having everything together, you can arrange it anyhow you want. Actually, you can even take a bit from this part, okay, depending on what you are aiming to achieve. Okay, and then you arrange it to see what it's looking like. So taking a bit from here means that this part of my elongated part will come out more. So after doing all this, now the next thing is for me to secure it so that everything stays together, and then check on the other side to make sure that it is neat on this side, because it is this side that is going to be up. So everything that I'm doing, I'll make sure that it's just on the back part. it doesn't show on the main part of the, and then you check it to be sure that you did not disorganize what you are aiming to achieve. So once you're fine with it, you just secure it. Then I'll take it to the mannequin so that we will see what we have. So you just need to cut another one to form two of these like we have in the mannequin. Then you attach it to your chest region. You can do that using your needle and thread to tack it neatly to your chest area or whichever area you wish to put this, and you are all done. So once you tack it a bit to hold it, you just tie it together, and then that's it. Okay, so after tacking it, you can see this is what we have, and you can see how neat it is on this part of the fabric. Okay, so all the tacking you are doing should be on the wrong side of your fabric, and you just tack it neatly to your bodies like I did. You can see you cannot see any tacking parts, and I tagged this using my pin. So you just tack the lining part of it to make sure that whatever you are tacking doesn't reflect on your main fabric. So this is what we have. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. You can see how simple it is to make this. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.